Hello, hello, hello. Straight Talk Sunday. Glad you're here with me, whether you're watching the recording or for those of you that are going to pop on live. It's only been a couple seconds. Oh, and then my screen went blank and then it's back. And now we're live. Amazing. So amazing. Take a drink of water, hunker in. If you got your notes, let's do your notes. We're continuing on our series on freedom. And I just got this right before I went on. So let's just see where it goes. We're going to talk about freedom in the process. Freedom in the process. So much of our lives as women, when it comes to our weight loss journey, our health journey, is trying to find the process and investing in people and things and protocols that will give us the process, right? And again, we've spent a lot of money on it. Weight Watchers, HCG, paleo, gluten-free, dairy-free, whatever. A lot of times we jump on some type of bandwagon, vegan, whatever, because we want someone to walk us through the process. And as I look back on my journey of the last 12 years, I'm just thinking about the consistencies and the inconsistencies of the process, meaning that what it looks like now is not what it looked like at all back at the beginning, in the middle, or even maybe a year ago, 6 months ago. And so, I remember when I first started the Healthy Edge and I started putting together the materials and thinking about, the videos and what content I'd want to teach. Back in that day, I felt like it needed to be a regiment. It needed to be some type of protocol. Even though there was flexibility in it, it felt like there was a way. And I was trying to show that way. And what I have found in this journey, that's also been my journey. So the Healthy Edge isn't just a program. It isn't just a community that you're part of. I've shared this before. The Healthy Edge, God has now revealed to me, was part of my growth. I mean, it really has grown along with me. And so having said that, when I look back at what worked, what didn't work, what would be the keys that I would pull out to give to a client, God is really revealing to me that there is freedom in the process. That I have had clients that have done different things with their water. I've had clients that have done different things with their food choices. I've had clients who have tried things that maybe I would have said in the past, like, oh no, don't do that. And it's been so interesting how when I took off the parameters of what I thought that it needed to look like for myself and other people, then God's allowed to work. And what I have found is that each one of us has a unique process. And where we start to get into trouble is when we compare our process to somebody else's process. And what also comes with that is comparing somebody else's progress with our progress. Sorry, my oven's a little bit possessed, but usually it takes care of itself. So that I want to talk today for just this short period of time about the freedom of the process, because I do believe that we want to grab onto something that shows us the way. And there really isn't one way, okay? There is one way to salvation, I believe, which is through Jesus. And it says, wide is the path, but narrow is the gate that we pass through. But when we get into the Bible, if we would look up even how to take care of ourselves health-wise, there's principles, there's some overlying concepts in there, but there's not a specific plan. How many vegetables do I eat? How many fruits do I eat? Do I eat meat? Do I not eat meat, Lord? Am I supposed to eat this, whatever. So, there isn't those details. And I think that we're searching for that so much. And every time we search for that process outside of ourselves, we miss the process that God is trying to do on the inside. We are not supposed to be conformed to the world. And conformed means outward in, to look at the world and to see things and then to change ourselves based on the things that we see outside of us. That's not how a spiritual journey works. And I don't believe that that's how we get lifelong great health. It is through transformation, and transformation is a process that comes from the inside out. Each person's transformation looks different. If I would have known what God was going to walk me through to transform me, maybe I would have been a little bit more willing to transform earlier in my life. Maybe I could have saved myself some things. But what I know of transformation is that it's unique, it's personal, it is intimate, it is God meeting you in the circumstances of your life. And if we will choose to not look outside of ourselves, but we will choose to allow God to bring up, not us diving in and trying to like analyze things, but really letting Him bring things to the surface, which He does a very, very good job of. Then we can really start to have fun with our process of getting healthy. I think some of you might have seen the post from Susan Bellis on our community, and she was making a comment about how many different things she was looking for in her journey outside of herself. So I'm going to do this over here. And specifically, she was talking about breakfast. Like she's been trying to figure out breakfast, what will not make her tired. And she's tried, what I do, and she's tried what this healthy person has done, and nothing worked for her. Even though what I do for breakfast is healthy, it didn't feel right to her. And so in this journey of the healthy edge, she's had the freedom to be in her own process. And in that, she found what worked for her. But she found it when she stopped thinking that the answer was out here, that she had to grab onto and copy from someone else, but to rather sit and allow herself to uncover her own answers. I mean, I really, really, really believe that if there is something that you need outside of you in this process of becoming healthy, the Lord's going to bring you to it. So some of you have been brought to the healthy edge, and these straight talks are the way that you get your mind straight. You get your mind straight for the week. And maybe the Lord has brought in, some recipes or a walking buddy or things like that. But how many times do we go searching for something because we don't trust ourselves? We go searching for something because we don't trust God. We go searching for something because we believe that we are doomed to be a failure. So we got to find something outside of ourselves to fix. That is when we start to mess with the process. And that's when we do not have freedom. Sorry, I'm touching my hair. We don't have freedom. That's when we lose our freedom. We lose our freedom when we feel like we're supposed to be doing something to find the okay, I'm going to jump on this. Okay, I'm going to jump on that. And in a moment you may feel freedom, like, yes, I'm committed. I've purchased. My box has come. It's laid out. I'm going to commit to this for the next 6 weeks, and I'm going to do it. There's a little bit of freedom, right? Because you're putting your freedom in the system. And that freedom very quickly turns to bondage. So again, when God reveals something to you or puts something in your path, or you can feel that He's kind of navigating, and then this person comes to you, and then that idea comes to you. And, for some of you, you've jumped into one-on-one coaching with me, or you've been thinking about it for a long time. That's a lot of how people sign up with my coaching, is they've been thinking about it. The seed was planted 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 challenges ago, and it's just been kind of sitting there. And then there comes an opportunity where a blog comes or a challenge comes, and they take that leap of faith, and they get on that free coaching session, or they sign up for the group program. And here's the thing, it's all part of their process. It's all part of the process. I didn't need them to sign up 5 years ago. I needed to keep them in the process. And then if somewhere along the path I was supposed to be part of the process, I always know that God is going to make that happen when it's supposed to happen. So I just want you to trust that you are exactly where you're at. And if you're waiting for something to be revealed, you need that next thing. You need a piece for exercise. You need some motivation. You need to lift, God needs to lift something off so that you can, maybe get back on track and get back focused. Pray for it, and then watch the doors open. I'm telling you, there is freedom in the process. There's freedom in trusting God with our process, knowing that He already knows our needs before we even speak them. He already knows. So sometimes it's just us getting in alignment with what he already knows that we need. So you ask him, Lord, I need somebody to walk alongside of me. Lord, I need you to speak to me in this area. Lord, I need you to break off this habit in my life. And what will happen is you will start to get little nudges. You will start to get some tools. You will also start to just get some conviction in your spirit when you start to come up in those circumstances. And that is the process. Again, when we lose our peace, is when we go, I can't trust myself, I can't trust God, so I've got to go outside of myself and I've got to find something that I can trust. So let me do this diet, let me do what my neighbor did over here, let me do what my sister did to lose 50 pounds, let me do what I did 5 years ago because that seemed to work. And then we lose our freedom. God has you exactly where he wants you. I would have never picked my process. But here's what I know now, only looking back, because there were many times in the process that I thought, God, you messed this up, or I did. I must have messed this up. This cannot possibly be the way. It cannot. It cannot possibly be the way. Just like my road to health was through my bulimia, my road to wholeness was through my brokenness. My path to true confidence and identity was through losing confidence in my identity in my marriage. Like I would have never guessed that that would be the process. But now I have freedom that the process can be messy. It can be confusing. It can be full of doubt. I can have doubts. I can have but as long as I keep going to the truth, as long as I stick in there, God has never left me. He's never forsaken me. He's never left me hanging. Now he's taken a sweet time because God's timing is perfect and our timing is instant gratification. That's what we like to operate in. But his patience is always for a purpose. And so I see now that part of the process has been God being patient with me so that I could work through, okay, I would work through in the process. I'd be in a little bit of a rut and I would dive down deep and now I'm in the pit and then what would I do? I would surrender my trust back to God. And then he's like, okay, now that you're going to trust me again, let's take a couple more steps. And then I'll try to take it back again. And then he's like, okay. And then, so I'm learning to have those smaller and smaller amounts of time between trusting God and really leaning into him and trusting that he is doing a work in me, that I don't have to go to anything outside of myself, that he's going to speak to me my truth. He's going to lead me on the path. If there's something that I need to know, he will bring it in front of me. But if not, I'm good. That is such freedom to just kind of get into that. So you guys, there are times that it's hard. There's times where I'm drinking wine to get through my process. There's times when I'm sleeping more than I usually do. There's times when I binge Netflix because I'm in the process. And God has always been faithful. I've realized that I cannot do anything to impress God, that I am not doing things to try to make him love me more. And so much of the world is about that, doing more, striving, trying to gain our identity, trying to gain acceptance, trying to earn love, trying to keep love. But that's not God's way. That's not God's way. So I have to keep reminding myself, who am I trying to impress? Because God's not going to be impressed with me. That there's nothing that I have to do to get more of him. It's really just admitting that I need him. And then letting that messy process unfold and trusting that even if I'm feeling like I'm doing nothing, he's doing something. That even when I feel like nothing is happening, it's so stagnant, that's exactly where faith is grown. It's in those places where it's like, I'm here. Are you here, Lord? That's building faith. That's building faith. And then when you move out of that, you look back. And I have found that when you move out of that and you look back, you see him all over it. Even though when you were in it, you're like, where are you? Sometimes it's only when we look back that we see that he was carrying us in the sand, that it's his footprints and not mine, that I was not alone. So I just want to encourage you, because for some of you, this health journey is like, it's like the road. It's the road that God is using to take you on your process of becoming. It just is. Why? Because it's the thing that we like to hold on to, ladies. It's the thing we like to solve ourselves. It's the thing that has a million different things that we can buy. and go to. Oh, the enemy loves, 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 loves to just keep us distracted in this area. But God's like, but would you give it to me? Would you let me be part of the process so that I can walk you through freedom? That I can show you not just being the healthiest version of you, but I can speak to your identity, and I can speak to that comparison in your life and that envy in your life, and who you think that you were back then, and your relationship with your spouse. I mean, it's like on and on and on. So I've just been seeing God doing such good things in a lot of the ladies that I'm coaching, and I just want to come on here today and just encourage you that there's freedom in the process if you trust God with it. And if you don't feel free in the process, it means you're grabbing for things and looking for things that He has not asked you or brought into your path. If you ask Him for something, He will bring it. He will bring it, like being on this Straight Talk Sunday, watching this. This is an answer to your prayer. There's a nugget in here for you. There's something that God needed you to hear. He knew that you would be here. He knew that I'd be speaking about this. I didn't know I was be speaking about this 15 minutes ago. I had no clue. So it's just He's part of all of it. If He can be sovereign and creator of the universe and hold everything in the palm of His hand, I mean everything, but also be that intimate God that's so close to us, that He's closer than our heartbeat, that He's just that small, still voice. I mean, that is, how could He not want or be in control of this process of us trying to take care of our temples? How could He not? Like it's absolutely against having faith. I mean, it really is. It's like a contradiction. Lord, I believe that you're in charge of all of these things, but on this part, you're not God. So let's just surrender. Let's surrender into that process. Let's make it messy but beautiful, because He takes our messes and He makes it into something so beautiful. And He's probably, when you surrender this process, ladies, He's probably going to speak to some things that you already know, but He's going to speak it to you in a deeper way, in a way that changes you, that transforms you. And when you transform on the inside, you can't help but act different on the outside. You can't help but be different, because you're becoming more through this refining process of who He's created you to be. So it's going to look different. You're going to sound different. You're going to do things different, not because He's changing you, but because you're becoming, and you're getting, I just think of it as like an armor, like you're taking off, not the armor of God, taking off the mask and all the stuff that we feel like we've had to put on our whole entire life. And we're exposed, like, oh, like this is the real me. This is it. Yeah, pretty cool. Today we focused on basking in God's love. Today is a family. Big smile on my face all day. Awesome, Susan. Tanya says yes and amen. So just a little tidbit for you today. So I hope that blesses you. I hope it's something for you to chew on. And if you need any help in your journey, I am opening up a new group program. I have a 10-day challenge coming up for those of you that are following along live. If you're watching this recording, this may be like outdated, but I do have a 10-day challenge coming up. And if you feel going into the fall that you'd like to be part of a community, a group of women, 4 to 5, maybe 6 women with me being mentored, then reach out. Or maybe it's time for your one-on-one coaching, those of you that have spoken to me on free coaching sessions. So just know that I'm here, and I know that God's in charge of your process, and I am always here if I am supposed to be inserted into that process. So just wanted to throw that out there. Okay? All right, everyone. Have a great Sunday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whatever day you're watching this. Mwah.